One of my viewers said that my platform is kind of similar to Alexis Gravify. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to put this to the test, and I want to see how long this claim holds. And to be honest, this is not the first comment that I've received which says the same thing, but I've received a lot of different comments like this. So what we're gonna do right now is we're going to see by ourselves if this is actually true or not. So let's get straight to this. So the first most obvious thing that I could say about my platform, which is a little bit similar to Alexis Gravifier, is the ultrasonic sound. In my platform, I use the ultrasonic sound. Also in the Gravifier, there's a ultrasonic sound, but in the Gravifier, it's a little bit different because Alexei puts the ultrasonic sound on the upward side. So the Gravifier, it looks like kind of like this. Um, the ultrasonic sound is in the kind of like a circle thing on the top, and that is where he puts the buzzer. But for me, it's a little bit different because I put the buzzer on the downward side. And that is why I said my platform is kind of similar to Alexis Gravifier, but not totally. The Gravifier sends the ultrasonic sound waves down on the disc, and then the process begins. And this is where something crazy happens. I don't know if you are familiar with the cavity structure effects, which is commonly known as the CSE. It's an effect discovered by a scientist named Viktor Grebennikov when he was analyzing the honeycomb shapes and how they sent back waves, which he later managed to improve by charging them. And then he created the whole anti-gravity platform out of that effect. It's a long story. We'll talk about it in the next videos. I think I've already made some other videos about this, but I will talk about it in other upcoming videos. But again, we see the same effect being applied here in the gravifier. Because right now the gravifier disks are spinning, which I believe they are already generating some few CSC fields, but then the buzzer is turned on. And remember, this is not just done by turning on the buzzer because after you turn on the buzzer, you have to match the ultrasonic sound frequency with that of the spinning disk CSC fields. After you hit the right frequency, which I'm pretty sure you will hear and notice, then you will see some effects. And I am assuming that you already know that the HV circuits and the Tesla coil circuits are turned on by now. That's why I said you can directly see the effect. You can't have this anti-gravity thing with just the ultrasonic sounds unless you are just levitating the water drops. So by now, without even going to the gyroscope effects and other terms, we already see a crazy process being done by just the ultrasonic sound waves and the spinning disc. And this is one of the reasons why I love the Gravifier. It has a good, mysterious design, but yet so interesting to analyze and to experiment with. I think I've done a video a couple years ago where I was showing you how this little Gravifier perfectly resembles the whole OTC X1 platform, if you're familiar with it. This is so interesting. We see how the Gravifier actually uses these ultrasonic sound waves. It is way different from how I use them, but again, we are similar by effect, not similar by design. Because I use the same CAC fields, but I use it in a different way than he uses it. I don't have the disc in my platform, but I have these little holes that I put on the top of it, and I charge each one of them. So it's not just the holes. I just charge all of these holes, and then when the effect is generated out of them, it has to be powerful because I'm using the ultrasonic sound waves and also the CSE fields, but which is also like charged in a different way from how Alexei Chekhov like kind of like do it because he charged the disc with the HV electrostatic charges, but for me, I charge the holes with the electromagnetic fields. And I think I've done a video a couple years ago where I was showing you how this little gravifer perfectly resembles the whole OTC X1 platform. And I think I also have another idea. I don't know if it's actually that necessary, but I feel like I need to try it. Is to increase the amount of CSC fields that I generate out of the platform. I know that I have the holes on the outward side of the platform, but what if I put even more shapes inside the platform so that I can get the double the effects? I want to charge small, like I want to like put some small holes on the inside the platform, and then they can release energy upwards. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think. I think that design would also be so interesting and like yet so powerful because now I improved the CSC fields. So the second reason why people say that my platform is kind of similar to like Alexis Gravifier, I think is because we use the electrostatic charges, the HV circuits. This one is so real, and I totally agree because in my platform I have two different sides. I have the negative side of the negative charges and the positive charges inside the platform, so they collaborate together to generate this kind of electronics fluid inside the platform. Then I apply all these things, and then it produces this kind of like powerful effects I get. So this one is so like similar to Alexis Gravifier because the Gravifier also uses like these charges. The upward disk is a positive, and the downward disk is negative. So when you charge the disk, and I think it is better to remember when you are dealing with the Gravifier, and this is an advice that I give to any one of you who like you are like doing the experiments with the Gravifier. Please don't charge the disks. Don't put the wire directly on the disk. It's going just to damage your circuits. So it's better that you get the wire, the HV wire closer, whether it's negative and positive, you're gonna get it closer to the disk, but don't touch them directly. Don't connect them directly. And the third reason why I feel like a lot of people say that my platform is kind of similar to Alexis Gravifier is how the electromagnetic fields are used. The way that I use electromagnetic fields is so obvious. I have the electromagnetic coil, which is inside the platform, and when I turn it on and I kind of like control the amount of fields that I need, it is so obvious. I get the fields, I get the effect. In the Gravifier, it's a little bit different and challenging because we don't have the wires there. The only thing that we are going to rely on to generate the electromagnetic fields, enough electromagnetic fields, is the central disk. The middle disk, if you know what that is, it is the disk, the not moving disk between the upward disk and the downward disk. So we use the magnets to spin around this disk, and then it generates these kind of like circular electromagnetic fields. This concept is also talked about by the same man that I told you about in the latest video, the last video that I made, uh, named James F. King Jr., who was analyzing the concept of magnetohydrodynamics. And this is where the whole process gets more interesting in the gravifier because right now we already have the electromagnetic fields being generated because the neodymium magnets are spinning against the central disk. So what we need to do here is to make the air more conductive and like more effective so that when we use the electromagnetic fields now, the air is going to be really affected. So if we're talking about similarities, I can agree that my platform has a lot of in common with the Gravifier, but we are similar in a sense of effect, not design, because the designs are different. As we saw, like the CSC fields, we both have the CSC fields, but in a different way. And when we look at the electromagnetic fields generation, my platform uses coils and Alexis platform uses disks. So it's way different from my platform, but we both get the same effect in a different way, but the same effect. My platform doesn't have moving parts. Alexis Gravifier does. So we see all these differences and similarities, but it gets to the same effects.